Green hell. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of the developer. Green hell is a sweltering struggle for survival in the Amazonian rainforest. Clinging to life, the player is set on a journey of durability as the effects of solitude weigh heavy not only on the body but also the mind. How long can you survive against the dangers of the unknown? Yes guys, it's another early access survival game, but do not flee until I have spoken, guys, because this isn't like your normal survival games. It's a proper survival game. It's, you know how survival games come and survival games go, and there's just like a few kind of, you can build a fire and cook a chicken, let's be honest, then it's a survival game. Where this one has proper survival games. For example, this one doesn't hold your hand. This one doesn't really have much of a tutorial. All it does is, it does have a tutorial which I'll come to in a second, but it's not really going to help you that much. This game is best played absolutely by yourself without using any guides or tutorials, and just doing what you think you would do if you were in this jungle, this rainforest. What would you do? For example, and I'm not going to give much away in this, but for example, this is the kind of game this is. You're thirsty, you find a coconut, so you slash away at your coconut and it will go brown, which is kind of, you know, after you get the green shit off a coconut, there's the brown underneath, and you'll chop that in half and you'll drink the coconut milk. But the actual shell, if that's the right word for it, if you just lay it on the floor, if you just put it down when it rains, it will gather water. Now it doesn't tell you to do that, you just kind of think, I wonder if I put this down when it rains, because it rains a lot in the rainforest, you can actually get water that way. You can build water gatherers as well. There's quite a lot of stuff that you can craft in this game. But the idea behind this game is absolute survival. You see guys, there are animals out there that will kill you. There are animals out there that will bite you. There are insects out there that will bite you and poison you. There's rattlesnakes and stuff like that that will bite you and you will just die of poison. There are tribes out there that will attack you on sight and kill you. And if that's not enough, you can go mentally insane by getting worms and leeches and stuff on your body, and just basically being out there by yourself, the solitude and everything just gets to you. You know, there's things that you can do to accelerate that. If you eat human flesh, for example, that will send you insane as you cry at night thinking, I've just ate a human. So it's you against everything in this game. The odds are stacked against you. This is for the guy who just sits down, rolls his fucking sleeves up and says, right, bring it on, Mother Nature, bring it. And you've got to survive out there. And it is very, very intuitive, the game. It starts off in the tutorial, which is actually the story-driven campaign. Now, it is in early access, this game, and the story-driven campaign isn't actually in yet, but it is the tutorial, which is quite interesting because there's two of you. There's you and this woman, who I assume is your wife or your girlfriend. And you have been to this place before, you've already met with the tribes, and the tribes don't really like, and I'm not going to spoil this because it's not very long, but the tribes don't really like technology, and there's a bit of a rift going on in the tribes. Some are kind of warming to you, some aren't, and basically this tutorial teaches you how to get wood, build a fire, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and you have this watch that you get, which is really cool. It shows you your metabolism of your body, the basics of your metabolisms as well. Basically, you know, not a massively deep thing, but it's also a watch and it's also your compass, so it's a very handy piece of equipment to have on you. And basically something bad happens at the end of the tutorial, and then that's that. But when the game is finally released, it's in early access at the minute, you'll get the full sort of voice acted single player campaign, which really does look cool to play. But after that, after the tutorial, you're just dumped in the forest by yourself in survival mode. Get on with it. And it's very hard on easy, it's really, really hard on normal, and on hard, well, only David Bellamy would survive on hard. I know you don't know who he is, but Google it. Now, what I like about this game is the way you do things. It's all intuitive. For example, as you discover things, if you're walking through the jungle and you find a snare that the natives have put up, or somebody else has put up there, you can then learn that, and it gets written in your notebook, so that the next time you open your notebook, you will have the blueprints for a snare trap. You then just get the correct materials for that by foraging around, and you can then build a snare, and you can catch animals in that, and obviously you have to cook the animals. And a good thing about this is when you build your fire, if it rains, it'll put it out. You know, it's very rare you see that in a survival game. How many times have you sat down and, you know, you can just, it's raining and your fire's fine?
you know. And to build a fire, it's you've got to do it properly, you know, like little sticks, big sticks. You have to get some tinder, you have to get the little, you know, where you're rubbing a stick onto another stick and all that to light it. It's all, the guy who wrote this from Creepy Jar, or the guys from Creepy Jar, obviously know their stuff when it comes to surviving, and they've just transferred their knowledge into the game, or they've done some mega research on it, because that's the thing about this game. It's probably the most realistic survival game out there, to be honest. I can imagine this being the way it is. I mean, I stumbled into an ant's nest and it was just, I got this rash and it was just getting worse and worse and worse, and you have to treat these things. I fell down and cut myself, and that'll get infected if you don't treat yourself, and you don't have bandages. You've got to learn how to craft bandages from leaves. But the thing is, you don't know jack shit about this place. There's fruit all over the place, but some of it you'll eat and it'll kill you inside of a few minutes. Some of it will boost your stats because it's nice and good for you. You've got to learn the ways of the jungle, guys. You've got to learn the ways. You've got to learn by trial and error a lot of the time, you know. You might be dying and you might think, well, do I eat this? Will it kill me? I'm going to die anyway. F it, I'll eat it, you know. And it gets you into that kind of situation, which is really cool in the survival game. And when you do get injured or hurt with something, it's really cool the way you have to kind of self-examine yourself. There's a little wheel comes up and you can click on different parts of your body and twist your arm round and your leg and look at yourself, and that's where you find leeches and worms and cuts and bruises and breaks and all that kind of stuff. And then you have to obviously find the right treatment for that, or you'll be in serious shit. And it is hard. It is very, very hard. If you want a challenge, if you think you are Bear Grylls, then, you know, grab it, because this will be right up your alley as a survival game. I think one of the hardest parts of this game is keeping your sanity. It's like the real world, guys. I find it very difficult every day to keep my sanity when I look at the news and I listen to the Labour Party. And no, I'm not allowed to talk politics. So, you know, it is difficult. It is a bloody difficult game, this, but a very satisfying and very rewarding game. But it is early access, which means that it comes with the early access bullshit, such as AI bugs. The AI aren't exactly brilliant. Sometimes they'll just stand there while you fire arrows at them, then they'll come charging over. So it's kind of, I don't know whether they're trying to emulate tribesmen or it's just a few bugs. I'm going to say that it's a bit of both at the minute. Also, when you're trying to set up your base, you've got to find a really good spot, because it is very, very finicky trying to put stuff down when there's like a shrub there. Even if you clear the shrubs, there's still some bugs in that area. So it is in early access and it does need quite a bit of work, but yeah, that's why it's in early access. So I look forward to the full release of this with the story mode. There are challenge modes as well. There's 3 of them, I believe, where you have to do a certain amount of tasks in a certain amount of time. They're kind of when you know the ways, when you become Tarzan. Once you're Tarzan, you know, and you can go Umgawa. Once you learn how to say Umgawa, you can then actually probably do the survival games. So there you go, guys. Green Hell. It's £15 on Steam. I don't know if it's on Green Man Gaming. I haven't looked, but probably isn't. But it's a really decent survival game. Very hard. And if you do like survival games, then it's definitely worth a buy.